Hello and welcome back to the Out Podcast, the podcast where we talk about operating and the art of visual storytelling. I am Dave Comides, your host, and I'm coming to you today from Santa Monica, California, where I am really excited to talk to someone I have worked with before who is just a phenomenal person. Lady Hayden Guest is her, I guess, official English name, but she also goes by another name, Jamie Lee Curtis. An incredible actress, also a children's author, a producer, a philanthropist, and an all-around good egg as far as I'm concerned. You are. Some of the things that she's worked on, but I wouldn't even begin to go all the way. Halloween, Trading Places, A Fish Called Wanda, Anything But Love TV show, which she got a Golden Globe for. Knives Out, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which she got an Academy Award for. The Bear, which you got an Emmy for, I believe. So, and there's a bunch of other things in there I'm not even going to go into because it would take forever. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. I'm very happy to see you. I'm sorry it took so long.
Oh,
but as we
please.
were saying at the beginning, in your world, if you're going to make a list of people that you want to talk to explore the whole art of operating, if those people are available to talk to you,
There's
you have
that.
a problem.
There's
So
that.
the fact is,
No,
you've
that's
been
true.
asking me for a long time.
Yep.
You've been dogmatic about
Have I been dogmatic? Has it been that bad? I'm
dogmatic.
sorry.
And you know what?
I was excited.
Well, but it's not even that. It's just every time you asked, I'm like, yes, but
Right.
I'm leaving to go do this. So I'm happy as I am about to leave again to be able to sit with you and see you again. As you know, I'm very fond of you and very fond of the art form that the dance that we do together in our chosen fields.
Now, before we go on, I have to ask you, when you got the English thing, do they give you a key or something? Like, can you get
You know
in?
what? It's my husband's. It's my husband's hereditary line, and because I am married to him, I simply get the title.
I just said it because I think it's very cool.
I know. I have never made a reservation at a restaurant in London on using it. I can get a reservation under my own name, and so it is simply certainly an interesting curio in my life, and I've tried not to embarrass him or his family or the gravitas of the House of Lords and the House of Parliament and what they do and who they serve and who they represent.
Well, I was going to ask, there's a little bit of weight that comes with that. Like, suddenly you...
Oh, there's a lot of weight
right?
that comes with it, but not from my standpoint.
Yeah,
It's
no,
all
no.
on him, and that's not even.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a longer conversation.
Of course. No. I think it's fine. I remember when you told me that we were on the set of Scream Queens and you offhandedly mentioned it, and I was like, wait, what? But
There are a lot of what's with me.
so I want to talk to you about working with operators, of course, but I want to ask you first, you kind of grew up in like the heart of Hollywood as
You know what? I grew up actually not. I grew up in the country. I grew up on a dirt road in
that right?
Benedict Canyon
okay.
with
It was a different time then.
tarantulas and rattlesnakes and big dogs
Oh, that's
and a
cool.
golf cart that I used to crash into.
So you had like a real
eucalyptus trees.
a
Oh,
real-
I had.
That's
We
awesome.
there was a donkey wasn't our donkey in a stable directly across the gate from where I
So
lived.
that's why you're such a normal person.
So I actually, Hollywood was not a part of my life at all.
Yeah.
And, yes, I might visit my parents when they did something, but I have no memories of that.
Oh, is that right? Really?
None.
I would have thought
And
totally the opposite.
Nothing.
That's
And
amazing. Was that a conscious choice, do you think? they
on my
made?
mother's part, of
Like-
course. And we were kids. So there
yeah.
was no... There was no cross-pollinating. We didn't go to premieres. We didn't do anything.
Well, it was a different time too, right?
It was a way different time. Obviously, the internet didn't exist.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
What a blessing.
I quite frankly had a beautiful childhood.
That's great.
And, a lot of imaginary play and building forts and,
Oh, that's so
lived in the country, really in the countryside compared to
Yeah.
what, there was zero Hollywood
Wow.
cross-pollination
Wow.
with my
That's
childhood.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And so did you always, did you
Never.
always think you'd go in? So,
Never.
so how did
never.
that happen?
It's too
then?
long and
I
boring of a
gotcha.
story, but I will give you just for the
Cliff
people
Notes.
listening, the way Cliff's Notes, like just the sea of the Cliff Notes.
That's good.
I was a terrible student, barely could crawl out of high school, barely could spell high school. And I went to college where the only college that accepted me was the one that my mother was the most famous alum, the most famous legacy to have graduated from the college. So they accepted me with my D plus 840 combined SAT scores.
Wow. You're not kidding.
No.
Yeah.
And I was a freshman in college and really thought I was going to be a cop. I was studying criminology and maybe social work, and I thought I'd be good with people. But I also took a drama class. You know, it's just like,
Why not?
But I was never in plays in high school.
Yeah.
I was not in show business in high school, although I danced, but I wasn't the star of anything. I was the kind of wacky girl off on the side. No, seriously. And it's the short version of the long story is that I came home at Christmas, ran into a guy that used to be a tennis teacher who was now managing actors. He said they're looking for Nancy Drew at Universal. Do you want to go up for it? I said, sure. Went up for it, didn't get it. They said something to him, and he said, you should really try to stick around. The college I went to allowed you the month of January to do one class.
Oh, yeah.
And so I called the head of the drama department and said, can I stay in California and try to break into show business for the month and write a paper and get credit for drama?
Smart.
He said, yes. I said, great. Stayed in LA, went to acting classes and dance classes and wrote every day a journal and auditioned for a lot of things. And at the end, I auditioned for and landed a 7-year contract at Universal, which still had contract players.
So I was going to ask you, which meant exactly what?
So that meant that you were paid a very small amount of money, and you were a part of a stable of actors that then they funneled into their TV shows and movies.
Just whatever someone needed. Someone
it
was
the
like this.
end of what they called the studio system, where studios had their stable of actors, and then over the years, free agency stepped in and sort of made that not irrelevant, but it made it
which is why
the
would
way
anybody
free
do
agency
that, right?
is.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's better.
Yeah.
The world is better with free agency.
Yeah, but so did you have any, like, could they say you're doing this tomorrow?
Yes.
And but you didn't have any say?
But again, it was like you're doing a part on Emergency.
Yeah.
You're doing a part on Columbo,
Gotcha.
which was my second job. My first job was a line on Quincy,
Quincy.
M-E.
With Jack Klugman?
Yes, I was a woman in a clothing store trying on some clothes in a dressing room, and he comes in looking for somebody in the episode, whoever the person was, and he pulls open the dressing room thing, and I'm in a bra, naturally.
Of course.
But I was 19 years old, and I say something like, you won't find what you're looking for in here, mister. And then he goes, oh, I'm sorry. And then he goes out, and then he does a scene with somebody, and then the button of the scene is, as I'm leaving, I say, you ought to be locked up or something stupid, like I'm some old lady.
Yeah.
Seriously. I looked like an old lady. They had my hair weird and a lot of makeup. It was
That's
awful.
great, though.
No. So that was my first job. So they put you in those kind of TV shows. And then I ended up, it's too long of a story, but I ended up in a TV series. I did a TV movie. It turned into a TV series. I was a regular on a TV series
But
for
again,
ABC.
this was all stuff that they decided this
was
is where you're
all
going next.
Universal.
Yeah, wow.
And then they fired me from the TV series, along with 11 other actors. Kept 2, but fired 11. And then while I was still under contract, I auditioned for Halloween, which was
Was Halloween a teeny movie, though?
it was $300,000, 17 days.
It was a slasher movie, right?
It was a no budget slasher movie shot in Los Angeles, and I was able to do it. I got a loan out from my contract, and then
then off to the races. But,
yes,
I
I
mean,
mean
in
Halloween did
retrospect,
not land me work. what happened after Halloween is I didn't get work, and even though the movie was successful,
Yeah.
and the work I got was an episode of Love Boat
You were on Love Boat?
with my mother,
No way.
where I'm on my honeymoon, and my parents, Janet and another man,
Yeah.
go on my honeymoon with me on the boat.
That's awesome.
And I also got an episode of Charlie's Angels
Really?
as a guest star. And I was Cheryl Ladd's best friend, who was a professional golfer, who ends up being attacked. And Cheryl Ladd ends up wrestling alligators in a river because we're
happens.
walking across a bridge. It collapses. And
70s TV was the best TV
So-
in the world.
And then John Carpenter and Deborah Hill were making The Fog.
Fog,
and
right?
then
Yeah.
John felt badly that I didn't get any work.
Oh, okay.
And so he wrote the part in The Fog. And then from then
It took
I
off.
started working.
Yeah. You were on Love Boat.
I was on Love Boat
Wait, I gotta
with
ask you something.
pigtails.
I gotta ask you something because this is where my head. Were you ever on any of those like Battle of the Network Stars?
Oh, yeah.
Or were they just
Oh,
complete...
I also was on Circus of the Stars. I also did all of the game shows. $20,000 Pyramid, Match Game,
as a celebrity contestant?
and
Yeah.
Hollywood Squares.
Wow.
Because that's where you could make $1,500 in a weekend. And for me, $1,500 was a lot.
Well, it was
of
a lot
money.
of money back then.
But
anyway.
you
yeah.
did 3 shows a day, and you got paid $500 a show. So I was on Match Game, I was on $20,000 Pyramid, Hollywood Squares, and Match Game.
That's awesome.
And I was on Battle of the Network Stars, and I did Circus of the Stars, where I flew on the trapeze. And in
Really?
fact, I posted just the other day, I heard that the man Bob Yerkes,
Yeah.
who was the aerial specialist, who taught me.
Oh, who like trained? Oh, so they
trained
send you
me.
to train before?
Well,
you,
he had a place deep in the valley. He had a rig in his backyard.
No way.
And he passed away like 3 days ago. And I made, if you go on Instagram, I made a tribute to him
I
with
follow you, but I
pictures,
must- I'll check-
pictures
I
of
missed it.
me
No way.
doing it, and then the pictures of me from the Circus of the
the show,
Stars
yeah.
landing my trick.
Did you do it well?
Well, I fell the first
Into a
pass.
net. Wait,
Well,
you're
it's a
probably
net,
tied,
but
and you're tied on.
No, you're not
You're not
tied on.
You don't have those things on the side?
No.
Really? Things have changed there too. They wouldn't let
No,
me do that.
no.
Was that freaky?
It was intense.
I mean,
man.
'cause,
It's
like, so you're
intense.
saying
you
it-
know what people don't know? The thing that's really intense
Yeah.
is when you're inside, it's less disconcerting. But when I was training, it was in his backyard in Encino. And you are standing 40 feet on a platform
4 stories. Yeah.
looking over all of the
Oh.
house roofs, and you realize how high you are. When you're inside,
Oh, when you're in the circus,
in a
whatever.
circus
yeah, yeah.
tent,
Oh, it's all dark and yeah.
you have no concept
that's-
of the height.
Oh no, but there you're going. Why am I above the
But
roof?
I was standing up there the first time,
that's
and then
crazy.
the other thing that was crazy is how heavy the bar is. Because if you think about it,
Oh, it's got to take
it's
a lot of
basically
G's and,
a pendulum.
Yeah, it needs some weight.
And it is like, it was shockingly heavy.
Yeah, I never thought, because if it didn't have any weight, it wouldn't fly back and forth.
Right, and you
Yeah.
have to be able to send it and have it come back with the same speed and regularity, which is what a pendulum does.
That's amazing.
So it was heavy, because I remember standing there, and the first time somebody swung it up to me, it almost pulled me off the platform.
Wow.
So yes, I've done it all. I've
That's
done
incredible.
commercials for 40 years. I've
Yeah.
done no, not 40, but I've done commercials for 30 years.
Uh-huh.
First I did Hertz commercials with O.J. Simpson and Arnold Palmer,
Those ones back then, wow.
where I was the female business executive running through the airport, jumping over suitcases, and
way.
Arnold Palmer was elbowing O.J. in the side
90%
saying,
of the people listening have no idea what we're talking about, but
okay,
I remember
O.J.
running
Simpson
through the
is the
airport and
murdering
jumping over.
prick who murdered in cold blood his ex-wife and her lover. or boyfriend or friend. Whether I don't even know if they were lovers.
Prior to that, he did these commercials where he jumped over stuff in the
And
airport.
prior to that, he was a football legend, and
all right. That's the point.
you know, and then became an actor,
yeah.
and was very charming. Had a seemingly great personality.
Until
he was famous for doing these commercials with Arnold Palmer, a great golf legend, and they needed a female business executive to represent the new business women.
Sure.
So JLC was asked, God knows why they said you, but somehow they did. I also did Equal commercials. I did Hitachi big screen TV commercials where I climbed inside the Hitachi big screen TV. And then there was also a picture of me, and the audience was big wide shot. And then the audience was I was talking to the camera saying, "Hi, it's Jamie Lee Curtis. You're probably wondering which one of these is the real image and which one is a Hitachi big screen TV." And then I would climb out of it.
Yeah.
And you'd have to guess. I did legs pantyhose commercials where I was an action star and I was climbing around. Wow. They insured my legs for $1 million when I did those. I did telephone commercials for a company called VoiceStream Wireless, which became T-Mobile.
Oh, wow.
So I launched T-Mobile in the United States for 5 years.
I never
Then
noticed this.
I did 7 years of commercials for Activia yogurt, which was a yogurt that helped you poop.
Yeah.
And so while doing my day job of being a movie actor and a TV actor, I also did a side hustle as a spokesperson for a lot of companies, very successfully.
Yeah. That's amazing. I had no idea. I had no idea. And do you prefer movies and TV to that, or?
Yes. I mean, look,
I'm kidding.
If you see the commercials, I do it well.
Yeah.
The products and the companies were all perfectly good.
Yep.
I could find a way to make it funny, or try to. It utilized my personality, which is a somewhat perky personality, and they used it well, paid me well, and it was a good partnership.
That's fantastic. I never had any idea that this was part of your
big time.
Your background
big
there.
time part of while still making movies, making TV shows.
Yes. Yeah. That's amazing.
And writing books for children. So I've written 14 books for children.
You've written 14? Oh, I didn't realize.
And I've been doing that since my daughter was 4 and she's 38. So I've been doing that for a while also.
Did you start writing them like for your kids?
No, just one day she said something funny and I wrote it down and it turned into a book.
That's
seriously.
Fantastic.
So
and I've read some of them. They're legit good books.
It's maybe my best thing.
It's fantastic.
But my point is, I'm a creator.
Yeah.
I am not a recreator. I am a creator. I finally understood.
Tell me the difference.
Well, I married a recreator. My husband, who's also a creator, loves recreation. He loves golf. He loves skiing. He loves fishing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
He loves being in the mountains. He used to rock climb. He used to mountain climb. Like, he is a recreator.
Yes.
I did all that, but with none of the passion for it. I went to tennis camp when I was a kid, so I'm a really good tennis player. I learned how to ski as a kid, and I used to go to ski school. So I'm a really good, very beautiful skier, but I have none of the joy and passion for it. Because, So what I have learned, Dave, in my old years, is that I am a creator. And that if I look back, I go, wait a minute. All those commercials, all those books for children, like all of a sudden I go, oh yeah, I've been writing books for children for 35
that's a
years.
Career unto itself.
Created out of my head books, ideas. So, and now I am presently becoming an actual producer for television and film.
Yep.
And podcasts. I started a podcast it's funny, I thought we would be talking about is camera operating.
Well,
but no, I understand. But during COVID, I started a podcast called Good Friend. It was 2 seasons on whatever, and it was just me in conversation about friendship.
Oh, that's
The Power of
fantastic.
Friendship
I didn't know that. I'll
was
look for it.
excellent. It's on iHeart.
Okay.
It's called Good Friend, and it was excellent. And I did them all before I left for Budapest. So I did like 40
Oh my gosh.
interviews like in 2 weeks. It was insane.
Oh boy.
But then I also did a scripted podcast where we recorded actors and during COVID called Letters from Camp, which was on Audible, very successful.
That I think I heard 1 or 2 from, and I thought it was really fascinating.
And it's funny,
Yeah.
and the really good actors came and joined us and played. So I also
That's great.
had never done that. That's part of my little
You're
company.
definitely a multi-hyphenate.
Now I am big time
Yeah.
because now for the first time I'm a boss.
Yeah.
So after I'm 66 in November, I'm a boss. I now have a company under a banner at Jason Blum's Blumhouse, and I'm sure he gave it to me as a what do they call it? I'm sure he allowed a first look deal with me. Was a bit of a vanity
Of course.
deal because he also wanted me to do 2 more Halloween movies. And I'm sure he said, yes, give her a little money. And yes, Jamie, you can bring us any projects that you think would be good.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he
This
never,
is the price of
I'm
admission
sure it was a
and-
little
yeah.
bit of an added bonus to get me to agree
Sure.
to do 2 more Halloween movies for him. And almost immediately, I brought him Scarpetta. So Scarpetta is a TV series that Nicole Kidman is going to star in, and I'm going to play her sister. It is a 2-season pickup for Amazon. We are shooting in Nashville. That is a giant show. I think Patricia Cornwell's books have been
These are based on books.
they are all based on books by Patricia Cornwell, with a character of a medical examiner named Kay Scarpetta. And I think there are 30 books, and I think
Oh my
she's been
gosh.
doing this for 35 years.
Wow.
And they've never come to the screen.
And this is the thing you're leaving to go
And
do
I
right
am
now.
leaving
Yeah.
to go do that, but I'm producing the show. I am acting in the show, and for Jason's company, it's a
Sure. It's
And
significant.
then I also produced a movie for Jason's company and Apple called Paradise, which is the story of the Paradise Fire of
That
2018.
looks amazing.
And the true story of a bus driver named Kevin McKay and a school teacher named Mary Ludwig, who basically came together, evacuated 23 kids who were stranded and couldn't get to their families. And then for the rest of 8 hours, no one knew where these people were,
Oh my God.
what had happened to them, because all comms were
Yeah,
shut down.
sure.
And Paul Greengrass is directing the movie. It was written by Brad Inglesby, and Matthew McConaughey is Kevin.
This sounds
and
amazing.
America Ferrara is Mary,
Wow.
and that is in post-production, which will be released next year for Apple. And that's a movie that I brought to Jason, and then
And how does it feel to be able to see that and go, I started.
had a part.
Not only I had a part of it, but this probably wouldn't exist if I didn't start it going, right?
so I've been in show business a long time.
Yeah.
And our value, we were talking about rates, like
Yeah.
our value within our industries are based on quotes and rates. And really what it is what was the most money someone paid you? And then you say, well, I got paid $5. So if you want me to operate for you, you have to pay me $5. But really what you should do is pay me $6 because everybody deserves a cost of living raise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how our rates, our numbers, our values get established. And then you hear these crazy numbers that studios have paid predominantly men, actors, only lately a few women, but really it's a very
We all know
male-dominated.
it hasn't caught up.
Right, it
the
has
way
not
should
caught up.
be.
But none of it makes sense. It's all monopoly money. Because the question is, what is the value? What is their value? How can you attach the value that you're paying them to the value of the box office? I was in a movie this year that was a complete non-success. And there were lots of very talented people in it, and I know they all got paid very well.
Yeah.
It didn't add up. People didn't go see the movie.
It's a guess at the end of the day.
It's a guess
right?
at the end of the day.
An educated guess, hopefully, but a
But
guess.
my point is, when you are your art, when you are your commodity, and there is a number ascribed to you, assigned to you, that your value in this project is blank.
Yeah.
And then the movie doesn't do well, you feel shitty, and you wonder, what is my value?
Mm-hmm.
Having a project that only exists because I willed it to
Yeah.
is a whole new ballgame
Because
for
you
me.
can't take that away from you.
Because no matter what happens,
Yeah.
it doesn't exist
Yeah.
without me.
Yeah.
And I know that feeling because I write books.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote a book when my daughter was 4 called When I Was Little, a 4-year-old's memoir of her youth, about like the good old days when she was 4, looking back.
Yeah.
But I remember what it felt like when that book arrived in the mail. And I went,
Yeah.
oh, that exists because of my
Yep.
brain, my creativity. So even though I am not the filmmaker of Paradise, and I didn't sit in production meetings and say how many water trucks we needed, the project doesn't exist without me.
Yeah.
Scarpetta does not exist. The books existed, but the years and years of never coming to a screen until I brought them to Jason Blum because they were available, because I happened to know Patricia
Yeah.
and said, hey. And someone at Blumhouse said, what's up with Scarpetta? Because they know her work. And when I asked her and she said, they're available, when I brought that to Jason, that means that doesn't exist without me.
That's amazing.
And that's a game changer
Yeah.
for me.
Well, and it's fascinating because you're clearly, I mean, you've done very well in your career.
Yes, but
at this
I've done
point,
well
that's
because
changed
other
that.
people have paid me based on my value.
Yeah, sure.
And this has nothing to do with my value.
Yeah.
This has to do with my creativity.
That's
because the project doesn't exist without me.
But I can tell how much you love that. It's
Well,
fantastic.
that's just a game
Yeah.
changer.
Yeah.
Because now it's, with all due respect to everybody listening, it's not what I look like. It's not how wrinkly I am or not. It's not how big my breasts are
just what
and
it is.
how cute I look or don't in clothes anymore. It's a creative venture.
Yeah.
And what I was going to tell you before we started was why I remember this. I have no idea, Dave. I have no idea. But it was 1984, and the movie Chariots of Fire was up for Best Picture.
Yeah.
It was on the hunt for Best Picture. And David Putnam, who ended up becoming a movie executive, was being interviewed. Why I remember this? Why was I listening to NPR when I was 23
Yeah.
and a party girl in West Hollywood? Why I remember this conversation? I've looked for it. I've never found it. I'm sure if I really hired a researcher, I could probably
It's
find
out
it
there
in an
somewhere, right?
archive.
Yeah.
David Putnam, when asked by this interviewer, what is the job of a producer? His response was, a producer's job is to keep the percentage differential of all of the creative visions of all of the hundreds and hundreds, often thousands of people combining to create a movie. The producer's job is to keep the percentage differential from the original concept down to 10%. Meaning
Wow.
that you can, in a what are those things called? Protractor, like when we
Yeah,
were in
yeah.
geometry.
Yeah, yeah.
If you turn it to 10%,
Yep.
that's it.
That's it. Everything outside of there doesn't work.
You have to keep the director's vision into
Yep.
that 10%, then the production designer's vision, the actor's visions,
That's
the
fascinating.
editor's vision, the score, the composer's vision, the marketing people's vision. That's your job. Every time, because everybody's going to come in, everybody going, well, I have an idea. What if it's that? And you're like, no,
You got to tamp
come
it
back,
down and go, no,
10%.
bring it back to what we were doing.
So
Yeah, yeah,
to that
yeah.
point, one of my best girlfriends is a woman named Deborah Oppenheimer. Now, Dave and friends, my new friends, prior to March of 2023, the only person I knew in my life who I knew who had an Oscar was Deborah Oppenheimer. She was a television producer. She worked with Bruce Helford. She did a bunch of TV shows, but she also produced and co-directed a documentary about her mother, who was one of the Kindertransport. Kindertransport were the 10,000 Jewish children allowed to leave Nazi Germany
For England.
but for England unaccompanied
Yep.
on trains with their names on little
So
cards.
she produced the movie that we all know about.
It was called Into the Arms of Strangers,
Into the Arms of Strangers.
Stories
yeah.
of
An
the
amazing movie.
Kindertransport.
Yeah, yeah.
And her mother was one of the Kinder.
Wow.
And my friend, Debbie Oppenheimer, won an Oscar along with Mark, her partner.
Yeah, sure.
And she has an Oscar in her house where I go visit her. She was the only person. Now, Dave, I'm
I
sick.
find that hard to
Okay.
believe.
And I know Kevin Kline, who won an Oscar because he won an Oscar for a movie I was in. But I don't know Kevin. I haven't seen Kevin in 30 years or 25 years. Kevin lives in New York. I know him, but I don't know him.
I see.
We aren't
Yeah, yeah,
friends.
yeah.
We're not.
He's not in your life.
We on any level.
Yeah.
If I saw him, I would greet him warmly. And I actually think he's probably mad at me because I probably ruined takes of his that were hilarious because I laughed. And I'm sure he's quite cross at me still.
Okay.
But my point is, the only person, I'm 64.
Well, but you're also pretty entrenched in the business. I mean,
The only person I know with an Oscar was Debbie Oppenheimer.
Huh.
So the reason I brought her up is Debbie Oppenheimer and I speak a language. And every time we're on a business thing or something's going on and she'll say, this happened good, or I am writing about Scarpetta like I think it's going to happen thing. It's been a 4-year process to get Scarpetta to a screen. Every win, like when we made the deal with Nicole Kidman, I said, we closed with Nicole. She wrote back and said 10%. When something good happens to her, I say 10%.
because you've told her that, or she
Yes,
remembers it as
no,
well?
because she
you
and
shared it with
I,
her. Yeah.
because she's a producer.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And
fantastic.
she and I speak the language of 10%.
That's fantastic.
And so that's really my job as a
Yep.
producer if you're really running something.
Yeah.
Now, as an executive producer, it's slightly different because you're 2 steps back.
Yeah.
I'm the originator of the project, but I was not the 10%er.
And then you hand it over.
There's
to
a man named
10%.
Greg
Yeah.
Goodman, who is Paul Greengrass's producer, who was the 10%er.
Sure.
To make sure that Paul's vision for this movie kept within that frame.
Yeah.
So that everybody
That's
didn't take
fascinating.
it. So anyway,
That's great. Do me a favor, on a side note, thank her for me, because that was an amazing movie.
Yes, it was beautiful.
And my father was not part of the Kindertransport. My father is a survivor of the Shoah, and he was hidden in a monastery in the Ukraine. And he actually ended up going to England with a woman who adopted him. So there's some similarities there. But I remember when I saw that, I didn't know anything about it.
well, right.
And it put it in
Yeah.
the zeitgeist. So
And
please
it
thank her.
became, just so you know, it also became, there was a accompanying book that was written.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
It is now taught taught in German schools.
Anybody listening to this who hasn't seen that should
It is
see
called
it. It's
Into the Arms of Strangers,
incredible movie.
Stories of the Kindertransport.
The beautiful thing is it's an incredible story.
And it's directed by Mark Harris and Deborah Oppenheimer, my
How do
dear
you remember
friend.
all these things? Well, it's because but it's an incredible story. But the beautiful part of it is it's an incredible movie made about an incredible story. So which is rare. So thank her for that. I do want to ask you about operators at some point. This is all fascinating. I didn't know most of this stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I have one question about. See, your mother, as most people know, was in Psycho.
Yes.
Do you remember how old you are when you saw that?
Like, oh, when I saw it?
Yeah.
You have to also remember, there were no VHS.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
I'm saying, I think I lied.
Were you an adult,
Right,
basically?
I don't even know. You know what? I'm sure I lied at some point.
Yeah.
And said I'd seen it. I'm sure it came on television somewhere or something. I saw it. I've seen it maybe in the last 5 years. I watched it frame to frame.
The only reason I ask is that bizarre to.
You know what? It is and it isn't. It didn't. It didn't affect me. I was very young. That was 1961. I was born in 58. So
Well, that's why I
2.
figured later on.
And then later on, at that point,
Gotcha.
the movie was bigger even than.
That's
so like
true.
I had already heard about the movie. By
course.
then they had broken it down frame by frame, Hitchcock and all of the lore and all of it. So
True. Yeah. Okay.
I appreciate the work. I appreciate her work in Manchurian Candidate, which is a fantastic movie. Obviously, I really appreciate Tony's work in many movies, but
Unbelievable.
particularly Sweet Smell of Success. I mean, it's just a dark world, and that character Sidney Falco is a indelible film character, and he was fantastic. But the truth of the matter is, Dave, I look forward, not back.
Okay.
And when you're a young actor, I at one point many years ago, I collected every movie they made. I decided to dedicate like a year to finding all of their lost work.
Oh, how cool.
And I'm donating all of it to Vidiots. Because Vidiots is the film, like, I don't need these in my...
No, let someone enjoy them.
And they exist because I found them and then found things, so blah, blah, blah.
That's
so,
great, though.
but I haven't watched
Gotcha.
all of
That's
their
why I asked,
work.
because I don't have any frame of reference to that.
And it would mean I'd have to sort of stop. I was raising kids.
Yeah.
I'm married. I'm working all the time. Chris is working all the time. Schools, kids, dogs, life. It would mean sort of stopping and going, let's watch Jet Pilot with John Wayne and Janet Leigh. Oh, okay. Weird.
Yeah,
So-
I get it. No, that's perfectly valid. Absolutely.
So I have, for instance, TCM did a Janet Leigh Day
Oh, cool.
a few years ago.
Yeah.
And they asked me to
Do an intro or something.
do the intro. And I watched her first movie, which was a movie called The Romance of Rosie Ridge, 1946.
How old was she?
She was 19. She was plucked from obscurity in Merced, California, when, well, here, just for all you film buffies. My mother, Janet Leigh, was discovered by Norma Shearer. Norma Shearer was a silent film star, also a talkie film star.
Yeah.
But she was a massive film star who was married to a skier named Marty Eroget. And Marty Eroget and Norma Shearer were staying at a motel in Big Bear where my grandfather was the desk manager and happened to have a photograph that he took of Janet, Jeanette, his daughter, on his desk. And Norma Shearer said, "Wow, she's quite beautiful. Who is that?" He said, "That is my daughter, Jeanette." She said, "May I have the picture?" And she brought the picture to Hollywood. She gave the picture to Lou Wasserman. Lou Wasserman beckoned her from Merced, California, Stockton, California. And she was screen tested alongside Van Johnson
Wow.
and got the lead in a movie set in the Civil War called The Romance of Rosie Ridge and changed her name from Jeanette Morrison to Janet Leigh and became an actress.
That's unbelievable.
So that movie I watched, having not seen it.
Yeah.
And she was fantastic. And
So great.
I always thought it was a silly movie because she would talk to me about remembering her. The first line in the movie is she's a young country girl, and the mail delivery, or the, not mail delivery, but like the town crier came by the fence, and her opening line was, "Any news, Ninny Nat." And Ninny Nat was the name of the person.
Yeah.
Any news, Ninny Nat? You know, I can't even say it.
Yeah.
And so I always thought that the movie was sort of silly.
Yeah, if that's what you know. Sure.
And it turned out to be a very dark, very about, you know, the Civil War, and a very heartfelt performance, really powerful.
That's great.
And that's how she became an actor.
Oh, that is an amazing story.
So she was discovered, I was discovered.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I would never have been an actor, Dave.
Amazing.
Ever. I would have been a police officer.
And you probably would have been a good police
I would have been
officer.
an amazing
You would have been a good police officer.
Because I believe in both sides of it. I believe in the humanity and protecting it. And I also believe that without law enforcement, it's anarchy.
It's anarchy, yeah.
So I would be good at that.
That's wonderful. So let me ask you about working with camera operators.
I love them.
I know you do, which is why I love you, because
I
we had
love
such a
them.
good time working on Scream Queens.
I
together.
love them. It's first of all, the most important thing for people to remember is that even with video assist, the camera operator is the only one seeing your performance. I don't care if they're video monitors. They're not seeing it. They're seeing a transmission of it. The operator is the only person.
Do you think that's because of proximity? I don't disagree with you. I mean,
Well, it's proximity, but it depends what kind of lens you're on. If you're on a super long lens, you're going to be far
That's
away
true.
from me.
No, that's a
You're
good
not going to
point.
be up, and you're not going to be.
but there is a connection there, right?
It's what I learned from the beginning was that the camera operator knows, and this was before video assist. This was before any easy way. There was no playback.
Mm-hmm.
You shot the scene. I don't care if the director is sitting directly underneath the camera. They are not seeing the performance.
Exactly what it
The
is.
only person who's seeing it is the operator, which is why very early on, I made sure that I had a connection with the operators so that I could look at you and I would know. And you say, I want your feedback. I want to be, this is a dance.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about it at the beginning. It's like a dance.
Yeah.
It is a dance. And I'm not talking about Steadicam and handheld and the work on the Bear with my crew, which was truly like ballet. It was gorgeous.
I have to ask you about that.
Well, of course.
Gary Malouf's a good friend of mine.
Well, and
Phenomenal
that work
operator.
on that show is
It's incredible.
they are another character.
Yeah.
Those cameras are a character in the show.
No question.
And often the camera can be a character in a show, and often a camera is supposed to be way outside, and that really depends on the type of work. Here's what I will tell you: the first movie I made was Halloween, and
Was there video assist on that?
no,
Okay, I don't remember
video
I remember when
assist.
it
It was
came
shot
in.
in 17 days. Are you kidding?
Oh, from that point
No,
of view. Yeah,
no,
okay.
no. But what I remember more than anything was Ray Stella. Ray Stella,
Great operator.
great operator, but it was also the beginning of Steadicam. It was the beginning of it.
Yeah.
It was brand new. This was March of 1978.
Yeah.
And so the opening shot of Halloween, which was the last thing we shot,
Ah, okay.
because if you see Halloween and the old scary house, and I walk by with the kid and he's like, "You can't go in there. That's the boogeyman's in there." And you're like, no. That was the way the house really looked in 1978. And so to shoot the scene at the beginning of the movie where the where the girl is there babysitting and she's there with her boyfriend getting it on, we, the crew, in the day before the night shot, whitewashed the house, hung drapes, put furniture in, so it looked like a nice
Yeah,
house.
sure.
The actual scary house looked like a scary house,
I gotcha.
but then we whitewashed
To
it.
make it look like the
But
nice.
we only whitewashed the parts that were going to be seen on in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have half a room painted, and
Great.
the lighting set was very rudimentary.
Yeah.
And so you would also see grips and electrics, or the one grip and the one electric,
Yeah.
kind of running lights. Like the minute the camera passed, they took the
Reusing
light,
them.
went to another
Oh my
hallway,
gosh.
lit that hallway, because there was no money.
Dean Cundy was the DP on
Dean
that, right?
Cundy was
Yeah.
the DP, but
Did you help paint the house?
Of course,
I love that.
everybody did.
So great.
But everybody did. We
I'm
put the
sure,
props in.
but it's just-
we hung drapes. We put the
Yeah.
the furniture
No,
around.
of course, but the
And
reason
then we waited for dark, and then they rehearsed it
Yeah.
in the light.
Mm-hmm.
And there were guys standing in the corner with a light. And then as soon as a ray passed him,
it.
he went and lit the
And
other
reused
room.
it.
And then
great.
we rehearsed it.
Yeah.
And then we waited for dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I waited outside along with the few other crew members who weren't actively. That's Deborah Hill's hand at the beginning of the shot. So when he goes into the kitchen and he's wearing the clown costume
Mm-hmm.
and he reaches into the kitchen drawer, that was the producer, Deborah Hill's hand, because she had little hands.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a little boy.
Yep.
And they would start the shot, and then they would come in from the back into the kitchen, get the knife, come into the living room. Then the boy left. So then the camera hides for a second. The boyfriend comes down the stairs. Then the camera goes up the stairs. She's sitting topless, brushing her hair in a mirror. And then there's some
Yeah.
physical violence. And then the camera, there's a lot of flailing. And then the camera makes its way down the stairs and then out the front door to the cop car pulling up and the parents pulling up and then pulling the mask off. We started shooting, and we were all outside, and all that was lit were like a few rooms, and all that was painted was the parts.
Just what you're going to say.
And
yeah.
every time they called cut, we all were like, oh, no, because it was the beginning of this. It was very hard to do.
Oh.
This was all new. How do you use this device and get
yeah.
all of the...
He was figuring it out.
I joked with you when we first met, and you were the Steadicam operator.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, but you're built wrong, because you need to be built like Ray Stella, who is not as tall as you and stocky.
Yeah.
Not heavy, but stocky.
No, yeah.
He had a low point of body gravity. So when you're wearing that device,
Yep.
it's helpful to have more of a
Yeah.
kind of body type. And you're like a giraffe.
And I don't look like most people think a Steadicam operator looks
Right.
like. Yeah.
Because you really should have a lower center of body gravity point. So my first experience in a movie was Ray Stella
That's
with
hilarious.
Panaglide.
Yeah.
And
Oh, and it's a Panaglide too.
I think it was
Yeah.
called a
It
Panaglide.
probably was.
And it
yeah.
was
That makes sense.
thrilling. And the truth is, it's not one shot. I think it's a composite
Yeah.
of 3. I think there's the first shot is coming in the kitchen thing, the boy leaving, him going up, and as soon as he puts on the mask, that's a cut.
cut.
I think there's a
I'll have to look at it
I
again,
think
but
there's
yeah,
a
I
cut
think you're
there.
right. Yep.
And then there's, I think, one more cut when he's leaving. I think there's one more cut. I know there's at least one.
Yeah.
I think there's 2. But it was also revolutionary. Now, if you see the opening of Touch of Evil, which my mother is in, without that technology, it is all one cut. It's all one
shot,
take.
yeah.
And it's breathtaking.
It's unbelievable.
Then if you watch The Bear and you watch that episode of television that was the one shot.
Sure.
So oneers,
Yep.
one of my favorite, like when in doubt, shoot a oneer. Like, fuck it.
Do you like them?
Love them.
Why?
Because it's alive.
Is it more like theater? I mean,
Of
is
course.
that? Yeah.
I mean, it's happening.
Yeah. Talking about the bear, when your character first gets introduced on Fishes, I think is the name of the episode, right? that sequence, I mean, it's several shots, but it's one long sequence in the kitchen. That's like a 9-10 minute
It
sequence,
was
right?
fantastic.
Was it? I mean, first of all, it's such a great character. I mean, I have to ask you this: like, when you get sent that and you read that, do you just go,
Okay, well, so here's what you need to know.
yeah,
Here's how this all happened.
Uh-huh.
I had heard about the bear before it came out.
Okay.
It was starting to get the yummy, like, it was starting to be written about.
And this is, by the way, for anybody who hasn't seen it, and you should. You came in season 2.
This is season
Like
2, but I'm saying
episode
season
7.
1.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard about this show, was starting to get some attention. I was in Idaho by myself. My husband was on a fishing trip. And I remember hearing about this show, and it landed. And I remember watching the day it landed.
So good.
The first episode.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yep.
He's this guy. He's paying. The guy says, I don't have money for the beef. I need money. He calls his sister. He says, I want to sell that jacket. Do you have that jacket? Yeah, you bring it to me. Yeah, what? You don't know about the brother. You don't know anything. And then the sister shows up. Sugar shows up in the back. He's in the restaurant. He opens the back door. It's 2 overs. It's 2 overs and then 2 closes. It's like, it's all handheld.
Yep.
And this girl and boy meet. They're related, we think. They hug. It's awkward. She brings the coat. He says thanks. It's strained. She says, have you called Mom yet? And he says, no. And she said, you probably should. And then you go, right, so they're related. Oh, okay, bye, thanks, anyway. And then they leave. And they hold on her. I remember Abby Elliott. They hold, it's handheld. He shuts the door and you're on her face for about 5, maybe 10 seconds. It's really a beautiful, because you're really going like, what's happening? When I saw that scene by myself, I said, oh, I'm going to play her.
The mother.
Swear.
Really?
Swear.
Phenomenal.
What happened was I then watched the whole season.
Yeah.
Almost in a day.
It's incredible filming.
It's incredible.
But it's funny the way that you just described that, because what I love about that show is they make you work for it.
Well, that's absolutely right. They don't give it to you.
They don't give it to you.
But I watched the whole show and the mother's never in it. You hear about her,
Yeah.
but she's never in it. So I'm sure I called my agents. I'm sure I said, oh my God, this show is incredible.
Yeah.
Please let these people know. Whatever. I then went off, did other things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Life goes
then never thought about it again. And then when Everything Everywhere All at Once was on its ascendancy to its big final, this little tiny 38-day, $12 million movie made in Simi Valley, California, in an abandoned office building, you know.
It's a little engine that could.
A total little engine that could and did.
Yeah, and did.
And I became a big amplifier and got very bold and brazen and was like, couldn't be more proud of these people. When that was landing, this was now January, February of 2022. January, February 23, almost a calendar year from when the movie came out, which was March of 22.
Yep.
We made it in January of 20.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
We shut down March 13th, the day COVID started.
Wow.
So our last day
was the day that
was
everybody...
Friday, the Friday before the Monday.
Yeah.
When the world shut down, I think it was March 13th.
Can for the
we finished Friday. They had 1 day left. They had 1 day left.
Wow.
They had a pickup day left, which they ended up shooting like the rock sequence out in the desert during COVID.
Okay.
But so it was 2 years from shooting it. A little movie shot really fast in Simi Valley in an office building. So now it's winning a lot of awards. It's getting a lot of worldwide attention. It's a huge financial hit. And so I'm sure somewhere in there, I know they didn't write it for me. I know other people, because I happen to know one of them, one of my best friends, was offered the part, and she didn't take it. And then they came to me. And so when my agent called me and said, hey, you've been offered a part on The Bear, I said, "Oh, to play their mother." And he said,
That's so
"Yeah."
great.
I said, "Oh, I knew. I knew."
That's fantastic.
So then,
it was meant to be.
really,
Yeah.
honestly, I had 2 texts with Chris Storer.
Yeah.
I asked him about her hair and about her nails.
Okay.
And he sent me a picture of Monica Vitti. And he sent me a picture of the Desperate Housewives of New York, one of them, their hands. And that was it.
Really?
And then I went to Chicago, and they didn't let anybody know what was going on. And the other guest actors that were in the show, they changed the name of the show on the vans so that it didn't say the bear.
Mm-hmm.
And so it said like Christmas,
Yeah.
like the Christmas story or something. And so if we were in Chicago, we weren't on the bear.
Yeah.
We were on the
You're
Christmas.
on
So if someone saw
some
you.
Hallmark movie or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Yeah.
And I literally walked onto that set, met all of the crew that day, like walking around like, "Hi, I'm
Really?
Jamie. Hi, I'm Jamie. Hi, hi, hi." And then Coco Store was there with the food, and we talked a little bit about the food.
Yep.
And then Chris was like, "All right, let's run one and see where you guys are going to be."
Yep.
We ran the dialogue. The cameras were watching.
Mm-hmm.
They said, "Okay, give us 10 minutes." They lit. And then
You just
we
went.
rolled it.
It's amazing.
And as I said, they are as much a character in the movie. It's such beautiful work, and it's intimate, and it's sexy because you're really
Are you
dancing.
are you aware of them when you're acting?
Sure.
I mean, but aware of them. Well, I don't know. I'm not an actor.
because-
I mean, I would think you would have to be, but I also
course you are.
sometimes people will tell me we disappear, so I don't know.
Well, everything disappears
Yeah.
at moments because they become something way bigger than whatever's happening.
Yeah.
But sure, I know where they are. I don't always know where they are. Like, for instance, at the dinner table,
Mm-hmm.
I knew when the cameras were on that side of the dinner table
Sure.
that they were shooting
When
our side.
yeah, when they're on you
But
and
by
when
the
they're
way-
not on you. Yeah.
I didn't know when they were on me or not because Carmen's sitting there, then me,
Oh,
then
sure.
then Oliver.
Yeah.
Then so there were 5 of us on my side,
Mm-hmm.
and there were cameras on the other side, and there was a camera at the thing. So it wasn't like I don't think we shot a close up of me. I don't think we broke it down and said, "Okay, now it's Jamie's close
You
up."
just knew they were pointed in
I
your
knew they
direction.
were pointed at us
Sure,
because
sure,
they're right
sure,
there.
Sure.
But I didn't know what the shots were. I didn't know what they had.
Yeah.
I will ask often, what's your lens? Or I'll listen and see what they call for, because then I know at least what the parameters are. But on something like that, it was so free form. The work itself was so beautiful, and the writing is so incredible, and it was spectacular. And I don't even know if they're on comms. I guess they're on comms.
I don't believe they are actually. I don't. I'll ask Gary, but I don't think they are. Most
but
of the
then my
time.
question is, how is Chris communicating with? Do you wait and finish a take and then
I
say?
think that's what they do. I mean, in other words, every show is different, but I'm pretty sure that show they're not
Okay,
talking to them.
so-
They expect them to go in there and find
find
the,
it.
and find the story.
So what happened with season 3? Was again, I was in Providence with Bob Elswit,
Mm-hmm.
who I'd been working with, and who's his own operator.
Yep.
Maybe not always, but he's definitely his.
At least on that movie.
On that movie,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was his
yeah.
own operator, and great crew, great people, and I went to Chicago. I finished that movie and went straight to Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and walked on to the hospital set, and was seeing the same crew that I now
Yeah.
a year later am seeing again. I don't really know people's names yet, even though I insist, as you know, on everyone wearing name tags.
I love that about you.
And I don't care if it's a piece of camera tape with your name on it,
Yeah.
because I am not going to know people's names, and I hate that.
Yeah.
You know mine, I should know yours.
Yeah.
And when I walked into that hospital set, it was a small little room. I mean, my God, it was no bigger than my dining room over
Yeah.
there. I mean, it was very small. And there's a hospital bed. And I walked in and Chris Storer was there. He said, so we have a camera at the end of the bed on a slider. We have a camera over her to you sitting in the chair, and we have a camera over you to her. We'll just run it. Let's go, no rehearsal. And I said, the whole 27 pages? And he said, yeah, the whole episode. And I said, oh, baller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
Fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
it rip.
Yeah.
Let's let it rip. And we let it rip. And I said, but wait, I get up and go to get ice, and then I come back. He goes, yeah, you can get up and go get ice. And I was like,
Okay.
baller. Way to go, Chris. And I'm telling you, Dave, we did one take. I know both Abby and I went off on a weird little, I remember there was a moment where I remember we were looking at each other and we were like, did we go are we off road right now?
You mean within the scene, you're
Within
sort of
the
like, you can
scene-
realize both of you are trying
Well, it
to
was
go, where are we?
27
No, I
pages,
I can't
and-
imagine a page, let alone 27
And
pages.
it was that thing of like, yeah, oh yeah, no, we are, oh no, I see the
And then
path.
meander back.
And then it's like, oh yeah, there's the path.
That's
And then we
so
kept
cool.
going. And I remember we did one full take all the way through.
Yeah.
Pete arriving, Donna leaving, and Pete and Sugar alone in the room. This was before cutting outside. This is in the room.
Yeah.
And then they cut, and we were all just like, whoa, fuck, wow. And then obviously Storer talked to the team
Yeah.
and said,
Let's adjust this.
let's adjust this.
that.
This
Yeah.
time stay, go tighter. Mm-hmm. You know, you were wider, go tighter. And don't move as much. Like, because when I don't, obviously, I couldn't tell you what was take one or take two.
Yeah.
But he made small adjustments. We did it again, and Abby wrapped at like 10:15. And I think our call in that room was 8:30.
That show in general doesn't go to lunch.
But I'm saying,
because they wrap
but
before
here's
that.
how crazy this is.
It's amazing.
That was an entire basic episode
yeah.
in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the call time on set was 8:30. So I thought our call was 7:30
Yeah.
in the trailer, right? The crew call, they were lighting and doing whatever they did in the room. And then we showed up at 8:30, and I think Abby was, when they said that's a wrap for Abby from this episode, and it was 10:15, we had done 27 pages twice.
It's incredible.
And then I did the little scene with Pete out in the
Yeah.
hallway. And then we had to wait until dark because they had to shoot the scene. We still had to shoot the scene when the facts show up in the waiting room.
Okay.
So they broke for lunch. We all shot the shit for
Couple hours, whatever.
easy
Yeah.
3 hours sitting around the
Just waiting
waiting
for
room
it
of
to
the
get
hospital
dark.
for it to get dark. They couldn't tint it.
Yeah.
They couldn't turn it into dark. And so we had to wait for darkness. So we all sat around.
That's fantastic.
Then we shot that scene in
No time.
15
Yeah.
minutes,
Yep.
2 takes, whatever, maybe a little camera adjustment, out.
I want to ask you one thing specifically because I have to know this. The first scene that you get introduced in, the butter on the hands, buttering the
Coco.
bread with your hands.
Coco Storer. So Coco Storer is the food director.
Yeah, and that's his sister.
And that is Chris's sister.
She's like a Michelin chef.
She's a
right?
major chef.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's a wonderful woman.
Yeah.
And we were going in the kitchen, and clearly Donna is not a trained chef, but she makes beautiful
But yeah,
food.
absolutely.
And so we were talking about how can we articulate that? Like the breaking
It's
of
so
the
great.
things is not done correctly.
The breaking of
the crab legs or the
Oh, okay,
lobster
gotcha. Yeah,
claws.
yeah,
like
yeah.
everything had to be,
it's close but not quite.
it's not the
Yeah.
way a chef would do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, of course.
And
yeah.
she said, and you can do this, and you can use your hand and thing. And she said, like, if you want to, you can just, butter bread with your hand, like whatever you want to do. You can take the butter and rub it all over
I
the
love
fish.
because the buttering of the bread is there's just something that says so much about that
Well,
woman.
and the timers and
Oh,
the
yeah. No,
wine,
absolutely.
and I mean it's extraordinary.
It's amazing.
But I've had some beautiful I mean, camera operators, man, it's really intimate work.
Do you find, well, there's a little different because you do, like you said, you do two takes and you're done.
Right,
But
and
do
it's
you-
handheld.
But do you find that when you're working with an operator and you're doing, 10, 15 takes or something like a normal movie where they do a lot of takes,
Right.
do you find that you're watching what they're doing and you're adjusting off of them, you're changing your performance because of them?
No, no, no. I really feel like they are the ones who understand what I'm doing.
Can you tell pretty quickly on a show whether
If
you're with an
someone can?
operator? Because some can't, right? Some just like an actor, some hit it, some don't, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. But I find for the most part, I mean, look,
Well, you're also at a point where you're on things
I
where you're
just
probably
did a
working
movie.
with people who.
This will make you
Yeah.
laugh. I right before I went to Providence, Rhode Island, worked with James L. Brooks on a script he wrote
That's cool.
with Robert Elswit shooting, someone I had worked with before and I knew personally.
Phenomenal cinematographer.
Fantastic. Did you watch Ripley?
I've seen
Oh
unbelievable.
my fucking God.
Such a well-deserved
It's
award.
unbelievably
incredible.
beautiful.
It's incredible.
It's too beautiful. It's too beautiful. Every frame is a Andre Cortez photograph.
It's incredible.
Insane.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I had done this little under $2 million movie called The Last Showgirl that was directed by Gia Coppola, starring Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, Pamela Anderson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was in Vegas. I was in it for 4 days.
Yeah.
And it was shot on a shoestring budget, and it was fast and furious in probably 17 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera woman was fantastic. She was also the DP, Autumn Durald.
Oh,
And-
know her name.
but-
yeah.
I had never, I'm just not in that world. So I just was like, yeah, you're cool. We've shot short ends. We shot on film. It was
Awesome.
incredible.
It's great.
So I was there 4 days. I shot quickly. I had this very beautiful experience. Great character. And when we were doing Freaky Friday and they said we're starting Freaky Friday, I said, we had to shoot it fast. And Matt Clark ended up shooting it.
You're talking about the sequel that you just did.
The Freaker Friday, which we just did. But I was a producer on it, and so I was suggesting people, and I said, hey, I did this movie in Vegas, and this woman was incredible, so fast, and I think it's going to be beautiful. And her name is Autumn Durald. And one of the producers laughed at me and said, Jamie, she shot Black Panther. And I was like, no. This girl's name is Autumn Durald. No. And they were like, she shot Black Panther. And I was like, oh. Like I didn't realize the kind of level of her expertise because I met this girl on this low budget movie where we were being taken to the set in the, the Kia of the PA. The kid who was 17 years old and had a broken down Kia was driving us to set. And I met this woman and she had this cool crew.
Yeah.
Anyway, and she also operated.
You don't know. Yeah.
And she operated. Mm-hmm. And so that's also just really fun when...
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So working with you or working with an actor, if a new operator comes in and they have to give you a note.
Oh, but that's the whole point.
Well, but not everybody feels that way. So there's some
the
actors
whole-
I work with who don't want us to communicate with.
I know, but what the fuck? Because what's the point of it?
I'm with you
The
on
point of
that. So
it
just
is
come,
get
just
it.
come out with it.
Just the point is you want it on screen and
Yeah.
in focus.
I don't disagree with
So
you. That's
if
why I'm
you're
asking.
whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
if the camera isn't picking it up,
Mm-hmm.
or if if you have to move to your left in order to hold the frame to be able to hold that, you have to say you have to move left so I can hold the frame.
Yep.
You aren't going to be like, well, I can't widen the frame, so I'm literally going to lose half my frame to hold you.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, the director wants me to hold you and the plant. and I can't hold the both unless you move to your left for a foot and a half.
So you're basically one of those people who just wants to know the information.
Well, I want to know the information because that's my job,
Yeah,
is to then
This
deliver.
but this is why I love you.
No, well, I understand, but that's not me being like.
Yeah, no, but there are some actors who basically don't want to hear it, and it's just
Well, I
I
understand,
need
but
to be able to go where I need to go, and I
And
recognize
by the way,
that as well.
but what is that? I need to go where I need to go.
Yeah.
No, you need to go where you're in focus,
Well,
and you're on in the frame is
Agreed.
where you need to
Yeah,
go.
agreed.
If it's a an unlimited exploration.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched Hearts of Darkness, the
documentary.
the documentary, and it's really fun to watch some of the scenes where there are things going on. When Martin Sheen got very drunk and then cut himself,
cut
and
himself with the mirror.
and they just kept kind of rolling, and you hear, people are he's like, no, keep rolling, and so when it's an unlimited exploration, that's great. I mean, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Sure.
But if it's a fixed idea and your job is to make sure that you get it,
Yeah.
and my job is to make sure that I get it in you, in your camera,
Yeah.
then we have to work together. That's the whole,
But-
to
but-
me, the beauty of operating is the intimacy. It's a really intimate, and I really hold firm to the old adage that the only person who's seen the dailies is the operator. And he knows if you have it, and he knows, or they know, I should say they. See, I always say he, and then it's perpetuating the same problem.
Sure.
But I've worked with female operators, so we're going to have to pronoun it they, but you're the only ones who know if they have it, and you're the only ones who know if they don't. And that, to me, is the beauty of the relationship between an actor and an operator.
Yeah.
And by the way, and the second assistant, and the first assistant, and, the whole camera team. The Teams Make Dreams is my, kind of ongoing. If I got a tattoo, which I am not going to get a tattoo, Dave.
But if it happened.
But if I felt like I really needed a tattoo, the tattoo would say Teams Make Dreams.
Yeah.
Because it's not a solitary art form. It's a collaborative art form. All of the art forms I work in, children's book literature, it's an art form. There are a lot of people.
Sure.
It's not just me.
Yeah.
Producing a movie, it's not just me. But I love, as you know, I just love it.
Well, but that was one of the things that impressed me about working with you was look, I mean, you're obviously a name, you've been around for a while, you've done a ton of things, but you also came in and it was just like, no, I'm doing my part and that's important, but your part is important too, and your part is important too. And you realize, you definitely there's a feeling on set that you instill that all of us is important, and it takes everybody, which is
But
phenomenal,
you
but it's not always
can't
that way.
Do it. I can't do what I do without you.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I can't do what I do without somebody making it sharp.
Yeah.
And I can't do what I do without somebody putting the clothes on me. And I can't do what I do unless somebody puts the wig on me. And I can't do what I do unless somebody writes it.
But you recognize that not everybody feels that.
I know,
way.
but come on.
So no, but that's why I asked.
I
That's
know,
why
but
asked.
come on.
Let me ask you something else. Do you think that you, as an actress, do you think it's changed working on film versus digital?
No,
The process hasn't.
no, I don't.
It's still the same.
I don't. You just don't have to. You can actually keep going more.
Yeah.
I mean, there are aesthetics to it that I'm way beyond my pay grade.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about the final product. I'm just talking about
I'm saying no. Well,
It
no.
just is
I mean,
exactly. It's the same.
honestly, the longer you can shoot, the better.
Yeah.
I mean, the
an
longer you
extent.
can shoot, the better. It just allows the flow
Yeah.
to not have to be interrupted by. We're at the end of a mag. We have to reload.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of an emotional exploration. You have to hold it while they,
But did you feel sometimes with digital that you find yourself going, we got this a while ago and we're just continuing
Well,
because we can? Or does that not happen?
No,
No?
not that much.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I no.
I want to ask you something about everything everywhere all at once. When you get a script like that,
I didn't know anything about it. I couldn't tell
because
you.
even watching the movie, I'm not completely sure.
Here's what I will tell you. I got sent this. I didn't know what the fuck it was. I read it. What I understood was who Deirdre Beaubirdre was. I know her.
Okay.
I know her.
So that's what made you say, this is something I want to be a part of.
Oh, I know her. And here's what I will tell you. I did a movie years ago that Billy Bob Thornton directed called Daddy and Them.
Never even heard of it.
It was when he was with Laura Dern.
Okay.
Her mother, Laura's in it. Her mother's in it. Kelly Preston is in it.
Wow.
It's about a family squabble, if I remember correctly. And I was asked to come in to play Ben Affleck's alcoholic wife, law partner wife, older than him, you know? And when I spoke to Billy Bob, I said, but I can go out there a bit, right? And he said, oh yeah. And I wore white, like pull-up pants with stirrups and like a sailor blouse. And I bouffanted my hair and I did a lot. I let my tummy go and like put on underwear that was way too small and then let my tummy go a little bit. And I remember what it felt like, the freedom of being like, oh, I don't have to be a pretty girl anymore. I don't have to look cute in a bathing suit.
Yeah.
I can be an actor. And I loved it. And I have the Polaroid from Daddy and Them. And when I met the Daniels, I read it. I went, oh, I know who Deirdre is.
Yeah.
And I met the Daniels.
Showed it to him.
I brought that Polaroid and said, I would like to go somewhere like this. And they were like, yes, you would, and we would like you to go there too.
Great.
And so then I understood the only job I have in something is to understand who I'm doing.
Is my part. Yeah.
None of the rest of it matters to me.
Wow.
Because it's none of my business. I'm my business.
Fascinating.
So for me, I knew who she was. And the truth is, we shot the first 2 days of that movie were Deirdre at the office.
Okay.
So the first
Right
day
off
was
the bat.
over me to the three of them.
Three of them.
Because
okay. Yeah.
the James Hong is there, Michelle Key, they're all on that side. We did all of their angles.
Yeah.
The wide, over me, close on them. Then we did Michelle going down the kind of the shot of her going back into the closet. And then the second day was on
Back
me.
on you. Yeah.
Wide, over them, close on me. And basically 2/3 of my part in that movie were shot in the first 2 days because that's my...
Yeah, and then there's the action stuff
and then
after
there's
that,
stuff
but that's
that
a different
happens,
thing.
but it's
Sure.
not...
So right off the bat,
So
you're
right off the
establishing
bat,
your character and
like,
everything. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
first
Yeah, that's all of it.
first frame
Sure. Yeah.
was Deirdre. But what the reason I said it is, so, and then I was like, then we did the stuff in the closet, blah, 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 blah. And then I left the movie for a minute because they then kept shooting and and doing the thing. And then I joined back up. And when I joined back up, they were in the laundromat. And I remember I have a scene outside the laundromat, sitting outside. But prior to that scene was the scene of the Key and Michelle in the laundromat having their reunion, if you will. And I remember I was there watching. And I remember watching it and thinking, oh, this is a movie about love. Oh, wow. That's what it is. That's all.
That's amazing.
And I saw it because I saw that being filmed and I
Yeah.
thought, oh, that's what this is. Oh, okay. All of you wacko, all the
Yeah.
wackiness of it. It
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is a movie about love. Okay, I got this.
That's great.
And that's just coughing, and my dog is coughing.
You okay?
Oh, he's fine.
Yeah.
It's just, But so I didn't know what the movie was, and
That's
I've
wild.
seen the movie, obviously, and it's beautifully done. But at the center of it is love.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Do you have any suggestions for newer camera operators on what they shouldn't do with actors? Or what they should do, by the way. But I'm always more interested in what
I'm not that person. I wouldn't have that level of
that doesn't surprise me that that's your answer.
yeah, I'm not that person. I'm not going to suggest anything.
Because one of the things that I will say is as a camera operator, when I come in to work with an actor, one of the first things I'm trying to figure out is what do they need from me? And some need a lot and some want nothing. And you kind of have to be a chameleon because you want to be successful with that and you don't want to get in someone's way.
Yeah, see, I appreciate that. I really do.
But I think you have a different approach to it.
Yeah. I don't separate out.
Yeah, which I appreciate.
I
Don't get me
feel
wrong.
I'm as much a member of a crew. It's just I'm the one saying the words. I feel like it's what do you need from me?
Mm-hmm.
How can I make this better so that your job is better, so that then that result of the job is better?
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's always been
Yeah.
my experience.
Yeah, well,
And-
and that comes through working with you, and it's appreciated. Just so you know.
And by the way, this has nothing to do with anything except we were shooting Freakier Friday and we were at the ocean. And the ocean is a beast because, first of all, you're just walking in sand is hard.
Oh yeah,
Operating in sand is hard.
it's horrible.
It's difficult for the sound department. It's difficult for hair and makeup. It's difficult for wardrobe. And we did some handheld work. And Nisha Ganatra, our director, is fantastic. She had these young kids. And the sun was the golden hour and the sun was setting. We got a beautiful day for it out deep in Malibu or in Oxnard. We were way the fuck out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the B camera operator is a woman named Janice. And she was operating handheld this whole sequence of the kids running into the ocean. And she was wearing a bikini. And what was funny was, maybe a little flirty. And of course, most of the crew are wearing like bathing suits and,
'Cause they're running in and out of the water.
and so you're kind of like, oh my goodness, look what's behind all of the, baggy shorts and like oversized shirts. Oh my goodness me. And she was wearing a bikini. And I remember B camera was shooting these kids in the water. And this woman was hand holding this thing. It's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
She's not the biggest girl in the room. And she was just fucking killing it. She just was like running down to the water's edge. And of course, she had all the people surrounding her to keep her safe, to keep the camera safe.
Yeah.
So there were people always at the ready
Sure.
if she stumbled to.
Yeah, like we all have.
And she was a beast. And what was so fun was as soon as we finished the scene, of course, everybody clapped for the kids who went in the water and the teens who, braved the waves. But then I was able to go, but come on, let's really give it up because she was incredible.
That's great.
And that is to me the great, like you don't get those shots without somebody really, and you're a big guy. It's a lot easier for you in that say. This was just that one of those moments. It's a B camera shot of the kids in the water. It was the end of the day. I think they had wrapped A camera. I think B camera was like, and there was just something magical about the whole thing. And it was magical that this young woman
That's great.
was doing it.
Well, it's also
And-
so great that you recognize it.
And I actually
that
think
is
her name is pronounced Janice.
Is it Janice Min?
It is.
Yes, I know Janice Min. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're right. She's, I don't know, she's probably a little
It's
over
Janice
5 feet.
Min. Forgive me. I looked on a call sheet and at this point in the day, my
Nice.
brain. But what was thrilling was to see her step up, hold that thing,
Mm-hmm.
hit every aspect of it. I mean, the kids were in the water. She was in the water.
Like you said, the beach and water is also not. That's
It's
a whole
just
nother thing.
it's
Yeah.
gnarly.
Yeah, that's
and you
great.
have to really be able to get the shot, get it correctly on, like it's anyway, it's like a real memory for me.
Do you remember the first time that you saw a woman behind the camera? Or I mean, not the exact moment, but where things started to change and it became
Well, it
not.
hasn't changed a lot.
Well, but there are more women in
More
camera than there
women.
used
Well,
to
I
be.
just worked with Autumn and
Yeah.
Janice
Yeah.
and and Janice, we met day one because she was the B camera operator.
Sure.
So, it's changing.
Yeah.
It's changing. It's jobs that demand apprenticeships. So it demands people like yourself to meet a young woman who wants to be an operator
And help bring them up. Yeah.
and mentor them and say, well, why don't you come on this movie with me? You can carry my equipment and you'll apprentice me and see how it works. It's a very hard job to just walk in and say, I want to be an operator.
Yeah, absolutely. There's too much to it.
There's too much to it. So what's beautiful about the art form of the cinema is it used to have real apprenticeships, real people who were able to learn from experienced people and then create their own. Sometimes you start very young and you're just carrying equipment, but you've leaned toward the camera department. And yes, of course, there are always a woman or two who are brought in and brought up and brought through. But, let's just be honest. It was a male-dominated world.
100%.
100%.
So that's why I was asking, do you remember when you started to see it? I mean, because...
Yeah, and independent films usually.
Yeah. I mean, like, for instance, Halloween, were there any women on the crew other than maybe hair and
There
makeup?
are the still photographer was a woman, Kim Gottlieb. Deborah Hill was the writer-producer.
Yeah.
But
But
all
not
of
in grip
the,
electric camera.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it was a
no.
male-dominated thing back then. Yeah, absolutely.
And there are more. Do you know Larissa?
Larissa Supplant. She was in Providence.
She was
with
in
you, probably,
Providence
because
with
I know
me.
she did a movie in Providence, and she works with the DP whose name is escaping
Bob
me.
Ellsworth.
And Bob Ellsworth. So I assume.
And so,
yeah, Larissa's great.
Larissa was somebody who
She's been a second AC. She did Donnie Darko with me. Yeah, she's fantastic.
and I have become girlfriends with her. Like
Oh,
we
that's
are
great.
because I really liked her, and she's an amazing that whole crew was
Yeah, he has great people working for her, but
Yeah.
she's fantastic. Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice to hear.
yeah.
I want to ask you one random thing, and then I'm going to ask you for your final thoughts on something. Just because I was reading about this, you took on a project where you help resurrect, I guess is the word, the Great Synagogue in Budapest.
Well, here's really what happened. I was shooting this movie called Borderlands
Yeah, yeah.
in Budapest during COVID,
Uh-huh.
21 February through April.
Oof.
And very isolated,
Yeah, right.
awful.
I mean,
far,
talk
far-
about being isolated, but you're in a separate country. It's even
Yes,
harder.
and it was
Yeah.
the protocols were. I mean, they were great. Not one COVID exposure on that entire
great.
movie. Giant movie, hundreds of extras, and somehow we managed to stay COVID free.
I'll tell you, I don't know about you, but I think back now about what we were doing just a couple of years ago, and
Yeah.
I can't fathom
I can't
it.
fathom it either.
I can't.
I
It's-
can't
It's like I don't
fathom
understand
it
it.
either.
Yeah.
And I was in Budapest. I had been to Budapest once before with my sister. My sister Kelly and I went on a Trace Our Roots trip.
Uh-huh.
And we went to Budapest and we went to Denmark because our mother is from Denmark.
Oh, wonderful.
And we went to Budapest and and we went to Bornholm, Denmark, which is the island where my mother's family was
Oh,
from.
cool.
And years before, a group came to Tony Curtis, whose original name was Bernie Schwartz. And they came to him and said, "You're a prominent Hungarian. We would like you to help us raise money to restore the Dohány Street Synagogue in Budapest. It was destroyed, it was badly damaged during the war. We would like to restore it to its grandeur. We would like to go around the world and raise money to do so, but we would like you to be the spokesperson."
Yeah.
And he said, "I'll do it if you name it after my father." So my grandfather was named Emanuel Schwartz, and the organization was called the Emanuel Foundation. And they raised lots of money. And Tony Curtis was their spokesperson. And I'm sure he did some fundraising for them. My sister Kelly also participated. And then they went to the opening of the synagogue when it was restored, this exquisite building, and the tree of life that's in the courtyard, and you can buy leaves in the names of departed people. It's beautifully done.
That's wonderful.
And I had known of the Dohány Street Synagogue. My sister and I went to it when we were in Budapest, when we were there on the family trip. So I even took, when I was shooting in Budapest, even though it was COVID, I know the rabbi, and so I was able to take a group from the movie on a weekend to the synagogue, got a tour of the synagogue, and but when my sister and I, when we went on our trip, we didn't go to the small village of Mate Salka, where Tony Curtis's family, the Schwartzes, were originally from.
Okay.
Because in our short trip, it meant a day, and we stayed in Budapest, and then we went to, our trip was like 8 days or something.
Yeah.
So when I was there, I said to the production, I said, I'm going to, I had many days off. I said, on one of my days off, I'm going to go out to Mate Salka, and arranged it with the people in Mate Salka, and went out with a group from my movie in a bus. We went out to Mate Salka, and, I did not realize I was going to be, met the way I was met, which was a very elaborate ceremony. Oh, wow. And there is a museum. There's a Tony Curtis museum and cafe in Mate Salka.
That you had no idea about.
I had no idea.
Amazing.
And then, of course, I saw the synagogue where my grandparents' names are on the wall, because there are a lot of Schwartzes from Mate Salka. And so what I had said to them was, well, and it's a kind of burned out, it's a shell of a building.
Yeah.
So it will never be restored as a synagogue, but clearly it's a town meeting. It could be used for events. And so what I've said to them is, if the town of Mate Salka and the people of Mate Salka want this to be designed and made into something that becomes a community center, I will participate. So I have simply put that out there.
Oh, I got you.
I am not leading the charge. I am off doing a lot of other work, but I have put it out there. I have made that very clear to the people of Mate Salka, that if the Hungarian government and if the people of Mate Salka want to raise some money, I will then join them and give
that's wonderful.
and support. I'm not going to just do it.
Well, and also, actually, what I like about that is the fact that you're saying to them, it's your
This is yours.
What do you want to do?
Mine.
As opposed to a lot of things where people come in and go, this is what I envision.
Well, and I don't have that. And
that's wonderful.
And, I don't think that's probably going to happen, but nonetheless.
Well, but you put it out there, and you go with that. Because we're talking about philanthropy, I do want to ask you just about my hand and yours, because
you
have a couple of Instagram followers, but the 10 people who listen to this, I would like to know.
You're a nice boy.
No, but I think it's wonderful what you do with that.
Okay, so right at the beginning of COVID, right before COVID, actually, before COVID. I've been working with Children's Hospital Los Angeles for a long time. I'm also sober, as you know, and I I collect these little bronze feet that this artist named Anne Ricketts makes. And I give them as gifts a lot, and I love them. And I had this idea whenever, for years, let's just say, God forbid, you had a death in your family or someone you know was injured, or God forbid, some awful thing has happened to you, and I had heard about it, Dave. I would have sent you a note because we're friends. And I would have said, hey, Dave, I've heard about blank. I'm so sorry to hear that, blah, blah, blah. And then I would have said, just know that I'm thinking about you. And I would always sign every letter of condolence, my hand in yours, Jamie.
Oh.
Which is simply a way to say, I am not with you, but we're friends. So my hand is with you.
Oh, that's lovely.
So having said my hand in yours for 20 years to people,
yeah,
and Anne Ricketts made these little bronze feet, I thought, you know what? I'm a creator. I'm going to figure this out. And I called Anne Ricketts and said, hey, can I commission you to make a sculpture of two hands holding?
Yeah.
And I will buy them from you, and I will sell them on Instagram, and I'm going to sell them to benefit Children's Hospital. And she agreed. And so we ordered 100. And, I was going to pay her wholesale price, and then I was going to sell them at a retail price, and I was going to donate them all the money to Children's Hospital. That was my little plan. I was going to start a little company. and this was in the fall of 2019. So by the spring of 2020, the February of 2020, March is when COVID hit, the sculpting had been done and the forging had begun, and we got the first amount. So it was during COVID. This was probably now April by the time I received them. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, wow, people are going to need these right now.
Oh, yeah.
And when COVID happened, my very close friends who run a bakery called Rock and Wagner Bakery in Los Angeles, they pivoted their bakery within a day to a delivery system. Like they were unbelievable in like a day, realizing that people were going to need food delivered. Sure. And all of their greengrocers, all of their dairy grocers, all of their pasta makers who would be normally bringing it to restaurants, all the restaurants were shut down. So what were these people doing with their products? They then became a marketplace.
Oh, wow.
And within a day, they had an online store where you could order pasta, milk, butter, bread, a box of greengrocer, like a random box of lettuce, broccoli, tomatoes, apples.
Yeah, it's like a CSA almost.
And because they were a bakery, and a bakery is all delivery, so they had 20 delivery trucks and employees, mm-hmm. They pivoted it and turned the Rock and Wagner restaurant into Rock and Wagner Market and offered a delivery system. So I could order pasta sauces, pasta, bread, cheese, milk, dairy, all the baked goods that they did, croissant, rolls, blah, 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 loaves of bread, and it would be delivered to my front door. Mm-hmm. And they had a thing on their website. And I called them up. I was like, who the fuck made your website? That's incredible that in a day you've pivoted. Yeah, I mean, like it was a week. But I mean, it was like a week later.
Yeah.
There was Rock and Wagner Market.
With everything going on in the world. Yeah.
And they said it's a guy in Canada named Oliver Marler. And I went, wow. And I called the guy. I said, hi, I'm a friend of Hans and Patty's. Look, I have this little company called My Hand in Yours that I was going to do just selling it directly off of Instagram. I said, but I saw what you did with their website. And that was intense and fantastic. is it possible that I could set up a little website for this? It's 100% going to charity. And he said, well, yeah, easy. He goes, great idea. He said, how many did you buy? And I kind of took a deep breath and I went, I bought 100, thinking he was going to go, oof,
Yeah.
oof, yeah, well.
This is so cute.
And I swear, again,
sure.
I said, I bought 100.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, you'll sell those in a day. And I said the F word, and with love and respect, but I might drop it a few times. And I said, oh, come on, Oliver. He goes, Jamie, this is what I do. If you start a website called My Hand in Yours,
It's going to be big.
you're going to need product. That 100 will be sold in a day. You're going to need more, and you're going to need more products because you're going to need a lower price point of products. Mm-hmm. And that created then this company that I now still run. 5 years, we're in our 5th year.
That's great.
And we now, if you see, go on the website, myhandinyours.com, it offers a range of
there's a lot
products.
of things on there, yeah.
There are low price point items, beanies, and notebooks and those kind of things. And everything is hand oriented. We have toys, we have stuffed animals, we have a beautiful array of products.
But all the proceeds go to the children's hospital.
100%.
It's fantastic.
No money is kept for overhead.
Yep.
It's all done, all the money. We've raised $1.5 million
Really?
in 4 years.
That's amazing.
Out of this building that we're
That's
in.
fantastic.
So it's a mom and pop. It's a small business.
And it's a
My
labor of love.
assistant
I mean,
Jenny. It's totally a labor of love.
So good.
And we will see if we get to continue it, and if we had to shutter it because there wasn't enough support for it.
Then you made $1.5 million for a hospital.
And by the time we finish it, it'll be 2.
That's fantastic.
So it has been a beautiful experience. I now run a little business, which was sort of shocking. I had never run a business.
Is it one of those things where you woke up one day and was like, wait, I run a business?
Oh, yeah.
It just sounds like it just sort of happened.
Yes,
That's great.
and I will just tell you this funny story, which was simply, because of Halloween, I know Kyle Richards, who was the original little girl in Halloween. So the little girl I'm babysitting.
Okay.
Actually, I'm babysitting the boy, but the little girl and the little boy, Kyle Richards, was 7 years old. Kyle Richards is an actress. She's also one of the women on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh.
And so over the years, I've known her, and she and her family have done philanthropic work. So when she and I were working on the Halloween Kills movie, the second of the trilogy, she and I were like, she was like, you should come on the show and we'll talk about My Hand in Yours. And I was like, okay. And so I went on the show and I just did my spiel, and I didn't think anything would come from it, but it was fun. And, I don't know the power of daytime television until the show aired, and my Jennifer Arthur, who runs the company for me, called me and said, Jamie, what the is going on? I said, why? She said, we've had like $60,000 worth of orders in an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, what? She said, I don't know what's happening.
That's awesome.
We've sold out of the wind chimes. And I said, oh, the Real Housewives must have aired. And that show alone has generated at least $200,000, maybe $250,000 worth of products being sold by our little company for Children's Hospital Los Angeles. That's the power of
That
daytime
is
television.
great. That's absolutely wonderful. My daughter had a very serious operation years ago at Children's Hospital, and they're phenomenal, and she is doing great. So that was
Well,
that's one of the reasons why I'm so it's fantastic.
it has grown into a really lovely little enterprise.
That's fantastic. Well, this has been fantastic. I so
You
appreciate you sitting
are
down talking with
still
me.
Dave. You still look like you and I could be twins.
Oh,
You and
I'm
I
not
could be
that good. I'm
twins.
not that good looking.
Yeah, you and I could be twins.
I'm going to leave you with the question I leave everybody.
Okay.
Someone who's getting into the business now, or maybe this isn't, well, but I'll ask it anyway. Or maybe you, when you first started, that you wish you knew. What's your advice on how to succeed in this business?
Um, Show up early, stay late, live at the bottom of your financial line. And I mean the bottom of it. So that you can stay flexible, so that you can be facile and pivot and all of a sudden run off and go do a project in the desert with a crew of 5 on a thing, and you don't have to worry. Like, try not to worry about money. Keep your budget line very, 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 very tight. Save every penny, because it's a freelance business, and freelance means unemployed. Freelance sounds yummy, but freelance really just means unemployed. And I'm a freelance actor until I have a contract for a job. And I've been a freelance person most of my life. The reason I did commercials for years is because they gave me a 2-year contract. It was the only time in my life I knew I was going to work for this many days. I was going to get paid that amount of money. The rest of my life has been this sort of up and down financial line. And the bigger your life gets, the more you start to work for money. And that can't be the goal. That may be the result, can't be the goal. The goal has to be the creativity and the exploration of what it is, and therefore to stay flexible and nimble, like an operator. Like, you need to be able to move and not be a fixed thing. And I just see people get more interested in the fixed binary nature of it, and we have to be non-binary in our art form. And I'm not talking about sexuality or physical non-binary people. I'm talking about emotionally non-binary and creatively non-binary. And this isn't a fixed point job. This is a constant, you're wearing a shirt with a spectrum of color. It's a spectrum job. It's just not fixed. And you're working with people for the rest of your life who want both. You're married, you have children, you have a life, and you have to be a spectrum person. So for me, that's always the thing. But really, so get there early, really early, and stay late, and write thank you notes. So if someone gives you an opportunity, you make sure that that person knows that you appreciated it. Be it, if it's not a thank you note, stop by a bakery on your way to work, pick up a bag of pastries for your crew. Whatever it is, make people understand that you recognize the collaborative nature of the art form, and that by doing it collaboratively, they will remember you for that, and they will remember you for being early. They will remember you. And by the way, when I say early, I have to remind people are always like, oh, come on. You can't be late in show business. You're not allowed. And I mean, you can't be late. If your call time is 12:18, you have to be there at 12:18. there is no department who's allowed to go, "Oh, I'm going to roll in." It's a collaborative art form on a clock. And people forget that. So when I say be early, when I shot in Simi Valley, I think I sat in my car for over an hour the first day because I didn't know how long it was going to take me. Even though I knew I was going against traffic on the 405, but I didn't know what those cross freeways were going to do. The two, I didn't know what it was going to do. I didn't know. And because of that, I think my call there was 6. I think I left my house at 4. I live near the ocean. I didn't know how long it was going to take. Now, as I got more used to being, oh, this isn't going to take me more than 30 minutes, I'm still always a half an hour before I'm supposed to be there. Every single day on any movie, even now. I also like the time. I like to greet people. I like to be there and say good morning. And so I think people remember that. And I do think people remember that.